Greetings, Master Phil here with another round of Master Phil in your corner. Well, you'll notice that the format has changed a little bit because I'm no longer in the studio. I'm in my home studio and we'll be working from here today. And the thing is, I'm basically a minimalist, and I really liked working with the rest of the crew. But you know, so I'm looking back on it. I think I really just need me. And I want to be more concise in what I'm bringing to you as far as information goes. So first things first is we have to thank our sponsors. Okay, so first we have philross.com. We have all types of training videos there. You can also purchase books as well as our fit team, which we also have them listed as a sponsor. If you need any type of proteins, supplement, drink, shakes, anything like that, fit team is all natural and shipped right to your house. We also have the Secrets of Kettlebell Training up, and we'll be doing some changes on that video access as well. And I have a new way to access my videos, and that will be divulged very, very shortly. We also have the Body Bell method. Again, this training is online or available with me personally, and I can come to your studio. And of course, the Master Phil in Your Corner podcast. I'm also on Burn Along. Check out Burn Along. Use my special code that you can find on my website, the Master Phil in Your Corner website. Just use that Burn Along code, and get it for only $14.95 a month. You can join me and over 2,000 other instructors. Oh, also, you'll notice on the Master Phil, my page on Burn Along, you'll also have my lovely wife, Amy, doing her brand of fitness, strength, conditioning, and step. And of course, you know that Health is a Well. It's an interactive health, fitness, and wellness community-based platform. And you can read blogs, watch videos, take surveys, anything to do with the medical health educational professional. So definitely check it out, and it's free to join. Also, the Winning Mindset. That's also known as the Wrestling Mindset. We started off as a wrestling training mindset group, and now we've branched out to all the other sports as well as training for executives. And hey, just want to be a winner? Come on in. Get the Winning Edge Advantage either in group, seminars, workshops, or one-on-one training. And then we also have the Megalo Social platform. So definitely check out Megalo Social. We have a whole bunch of different apps with Megalo Social, from video apps to social media platforms and so forth. So, well, let's get into this. Here's the thing. This is episode number 72, and we're going to discuss preparation. I teach a lot of students. I teach a lot of students in college. Right now, currently at Burn Community, I have, 125 students. And I open up my class just like I do for my martial arts classes and just about anybody I'm working with. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. I tell this to all my students and athletes, called the 5 P's of success. I actually got this information from a book called Rogue Warrior by Richard Marcinko. He was the developer of SEAL Team 6, and he wrote a whole bunch of books that were really awesome. But I really particularly enjoyed very much Rogue Warrior, and I took a lot of information from that Rogue Warrior book. Also the one that the more you sweat and train, the less you bleed in combat. I got that from that book as well, and I put it on my shirts back in the day, and I got on a couple of different TV shows. I think it was on The Sopranos. One of them, somebody in the bar had one of my shirts on, and then they also used the line in the movie 300. But I'll let you know that I had it on my shirts way before the movie 300 came out. But I do give credit to Dick Marcinko for that saying. There's another one. Another quote by a well-known gentleman. You might see him on some of your bills. By failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. This is by Ben Franklin. So he was a pretty well-known guy. So, we look at this preparation, you say, gosh, what are we missing here? What are people missing? You know, if you're looking at it, we have a couple of big problems in society today. Okay? One of the biggest issues is anxiety, and it's often followed by or accompanied by depression. But people get anxious, and you know what? A lot of times because you have to get from point A to point B, you have something to do. You have a presentation, you have homework, you have to take care of your animals or your kids or your wife or your husband or whatever the case may be. But preparation can reduce that anxiety level. So that's why it's very, very important for us to be prepared. Okay? Look, you have X amount of time to get ready for the bus. So if you're running around looking for your bag, you're looking for your clothes, you're looking for your shoes, you don't know what you're going to wear, you can't find something, you don't have all your stuff together. Well, I'll tell you, if you do the preparation the night before, and if you went and had everything laid out, put them in order, had them ready to go, you're going to be reducing your anxiety and your depression, which will follow that, significantly. So, you want to remove the things that cause anxiety. And one of the things is being unprepared. So, how do we do that? Be prepared. I know it's simple, but a lot of people don't do it. We also have another huge issue in this country, no pun intended. That's weight control. So, why don't we prep meals? One of the big issues is that we have people in this country, 72% of the people in this country are overweight. 43% are obese. These numbers are growing like our waistlines, and they're growing every year. They have not gone down. People are more than double the weight per person than we were back in the 80s. So the number of obese people is more than double what it was in the 80s. And it's not getting any better. You look at some of our kids, there's a lot of overweight children. You can blame it on society, you can blame it on this, blame it on that. But you know what? Part of it is not being prepared. So how about doing some meal prep? Cook something good. Like I'll tell you, when I was competing a lot and I wanted to keep my weight down, which I'm still a very reasonable weight. My weight in honestly this morning 191 pounds. Okay, so how do I keep it there? Well, by prepping meals. You can't go out and eat all the time. It's so easy to grab something quick. One, what's that doing to your wallet? Because it's more expensive to buy food when you're out. Two, you are dependent upon the person who made that food, not you. So that if you cook something, you make something yourself, store it, and then take it throughout the week, you're in full control of that food. You know what you're putting together. You can control the caloric intake. The oils, the fats, the sugars, all these kinds of ingredients that are not good for us are shoved into the food because it's easier to cook and it generally tastes better. But if you spice things up and get used to spicing them up, it's going to help you a great deal more. And using the proper spices, not just talking like salt or pepper, but pepper's okay. Salt, you do need some, but we tend to have too much. But there's many other spices that you can use. Obviously, garlic is a great one. If you have a sweet tooth, you want to put a little cinnamon on something, that's actually very, very good for you as well. So prepping your food will help you dramatically. And if you look at the preparation models for professionals, adequate preparation is not always the most glamorous, most exciting, most fun thing to do. Many people look at it as mundane. They got better things to do. We get distracted and so forth. But even though you may think it's unappealing and uninteresting, and that you like being spontaneous because it's cool and so forth. But you know what? Spontaneity has its place. Maybe if you're thinking about going somewhere or doing something, but as far as your choices and how you're going to run your life, it's better to plan. So you want to make sure that you develop these valuable skills. Again, it's going to help you reduce anxiety level. I mean, if you look at a lot of people are more and more very anxious. We have a lot of pressures on us in society. Why are you going to add to it? We all have our stress bucket, and there's only so much you can put in that bucket before things overboil. Now, there's also ways to mitigate those stressors. One of them is being prepared. Two of them is being of a proper weight. The third one will be your activity level, and they all come together. Because another thing that people say is, "Gosh, I don't have the time to work out." Well, you know what? If you plan properly, you can. And as I have another book coming out, Exercise Snacks, Fitness 5 minutes at a time, and we address that. You don't have the time. Well, 5-10 minutes here, several times a day. By the end of the day, you've done a significant amount of work and helped yourself dramatically. So, a large part of most people's day is dealing with, managing, putting out fires. There's a lot of problems that occur, and we have to deal with it. The more prepared we are, the better we can handle that. Okay, it's like this. You're going to go on a trip. Well, you better put gas in your car, right? Is it just that? It's just filling up the tank to go? No. What about the brakes? How are your brakes? Gosh, how are the other fluids in the vehicle? Do I have the proper air in my tires? All of these things will help you. Now, what if there's an issue? What if I get a flat tire? What if something goes wrong on the road? Directions. Do I have directions? What if the GPS goes out? Or what if there's a roadblock? Gosh, do I have an alternate route? See, all these things help you in your preparation. So things that, when you have to deal with some of these issues, you have a way out. You're prepared. So it's much better to anticipate a problem than deal with it. The old adage, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Heck, if you can avoid the situation, you can avoid the issue, or be prepared to deal with it, it will lessen the negative effects of that issue. And preparation can be learned. It's a skill, just like anything else. And with discipline and experience, you get better and better at it, and it becomes almost rote. So you don't even have to really think about it. You're just doing it because it's what you do. Do we use a calendar? I happen to use a Google Calendar, and I plan everything out. And I see how much time I have, what I have on my schedule. I plan things out for weeks and months in advance. Why? So if something comes up or I need to do something, do I have to move things around? Do I have to change something? Or do I have to say no and walk away? We don't know. I need a little water right now, though. Okay, there's a difference between being reactive and proactive. Reactive is you're just like, oh my gosh, I got to do something. And generally that raises anxiety, right? Raises blood pressure. Okay. And generally you don't do it well. Now, the advantage of being prepared is that I have everything ready. I get things done in a more time efficient fashion. And what else? Reduce the stress. So you may have gotten some great experience at this stuff because you know how to predict the future. Let's say, like I used to say this to my wrestlers when I was coaching them. I have this crystal ball, and here's what's going to happen, because a wrestler has to make weight. So if we have a weigh-in on a Wednesday, and it's Monday, and they're 5, 6, 8 pounds overweight, I have a crystal ball here, and what that crystal ball tells me is that it's going to be a rough weight cut or they're going to miss. So what do you want to do? You want to avoid that by bringing your weight down, being prepared, being ready to act. And as a professional, if you're a professional fighter and you miss weight, heck, that could lose you a championship. It could cost you money, could cost you the fight. A fighter may say, listen, I choose not to fight. He's too far overweight. And when I used to run my shows, as a professional, that would bother me a lot because there's several things that you have to do when you're a professional fighter. You have to come prepared to fight and make weight. Those are your first two jobs. The next one is give it all in the ring, cage, mat, wherever you are. And if you're a professional and you miss weight, to me, there's no excuse. I never missed weight once in all the times I competed. Why? It's your job. It's your job to make weight. So you weren't properly prepared. You didn't plan. You didn't plan and you didn't execute a plan. You went at this thing haphazardly. So to me, that's a lack of respect for the sport and a lack of respect for yourself and your opponent. And other competitors get very, very upset when their opponent doesn't make weight. That really is like kind of a slap in the face to them. And we also have another thing called time. Time. Time is money. If you're prepared, well, guess what? That will be less time when something bad happens. And if you're prepared to do a job, you take your time, you do the job right. You're prepared, you can do the job right. And if people rush through a job, they rush and they're not prepared and because they just kind of do it, but then they have to do it over. It's kind of funny that no one has the time to do the job right first time, but they always have the time to do it over. Look, the job has to get done. Be prepared, do it right the first time. Same thing if you're a carpenter. Measure twice, cut once. Measure it, make sure it's right. Check the measurement, then make the cut. Because once you made that cut, if you cut off too much, the board is no good. If you don't cut off enough, you have to cut it again. So measure, cut. All part of being prepared, taking your steps and doing it properly. So, if you're in a situation, let's say there's a professional firefighting crew and they're ready for action in a moment's notice. So you look at them and then you compare them with someone who doesn't have all their equipment. They don't have their containers aren't filled with liquid to put out the fire. People are going to die. Think of yourself as a pit crew. Your pit crew in NASCAR, these guys come flying off the road. Time is of the essence. You ever see those guys work? If you're not prepared, your racer's not getting back out on that track fast enough and it could lose the race. What do you think your job's going to be worth then? Now, when you're a speaker and you're presenting, one of the things is being prepared for the speech. You have to practice it. You have to practice your speech. So when I'm going out in front of a live audience, I have practiced my speech. I know my hot points. I try to impress this upon my students as well, because every single one of my classes has presentation in it. They all have to present. Why? Because this skill is important. Because your spoken word, what you are saying to someone, is extremely important. Words have power. So you have to be prepared for that. How do we prepare for that? Well, first we study the subject and then we practice it. And, practice doesn't make perfect, but perfect practice makes perfect. So you have to really make sure that whatever you're in, whether you're a fighter, a football player. Now, if you go out there on the field or in the ring or on a court, wherever you're competing, and you're not prepared for this, what's going to happen? That's why preparation for an opponent, preparation for a game is tantamount. If we're not prepared, It's not going to work out well. And as far as a professional goes, when you're going and presenting in front of people and you're representing a company, a product, or yourself, if you're not practiced and polished, then what do you think is going to happen? Do you think you're going to come off well? Are you going to get your point across? Are you going to be able to articulate it properly? Are you going to win? Well, you want to win? Be prepared. So there's a couple of different things that can help you in your preparation. So you need to understand, what are you preparing? What are you preparing for? What's your objective? What's the end game? So, do you know why you're doing this? Are you part of, are you a cog in the wheel, or are you the wheel itself? What is the objective? So, you have to answer these questions. And if you can't answer them, well, you have to go back and reassess the situation. So if you can't answer these questions and get these things together, then that preparation is kind of a waste of time. So what do we have to do with that? Like I said, set our objectives. So then you also have to pace yourself. It's not seeing how fast you can get this thing done, how quickly you can get it done. As we spoke before about, the carpenter cutting a piece of wood. Yeah, you want to do it efficiently, but you don't want to do it too fast. So there's a difference between efficiency and doing something in an expeditious manner and rushing through a job. So you have to have full understanding of this problem and apply the necessary solution. You want to look at all different angles of the issue, of the problem, and then forge a solution there. The other thing is you need to set time aside. Preparation takes time. So set the time aside, like the night before. The night before, you have to get ready for school. You don't want to miss your bus or get ready for work. Have all your homework or your files or whatever you need, have everything ready to go. Have your clothes laid out for the day so that when you're ready, boom, you do whatever you're doing. I mean, personally, I take you through my day. I put out my clothes the night before. I get up, make the coffee. While the coffee's brewing, you have to make fresh coffee, not that K-cup garbage. While the coffee is brewing, I do my little workout. So I make sure I do some type of workout every morning. And generally, my workout includes stretching. I stretch with my staff. And if you go to @MasterPhil, you can see the total body warm up there on YouTube. And then I'll hit 50 squats, 50 push-ups, 100 abdominals. I'll do my 10 bridges. I'll do a single leg RDLs, balancing exercise, one leg. And then I do some neck exercises. And then I'm off to the races. So I jump in the shower, get dressed, my coffee's done. I have my coffee, my breakfast, I'm out the door. Oh, by the way, my bag is packed. So I have all my information in there. And another thing I'll do too is the night before I set aside prep time, not just for my clothes and things like that, but I make sure that everything is uploaded to my site for my classes that I'm teaching, so that I have everything laid out. So I know what I'm presenting and I know what's expected of my students that day. So, there's a couple of things, that you have to understand is that preparation is not an option. If you say failure is not an option, preparation is not an option. It's an essential component to success. And when we're prepared, you save time as well as money. Think about it. Just look at this. If I make my coffee every day, instead of spending $3 to $5 a day on a cup of coffee, if you go to work 5 days a week, it's 25 a week, over 100 a month, $1,200 a year, you're saving that money. Just think about that, a little prepared. And then do it for lunch. If you make your food and bring it, Lunch is what, 13, 12, 13, $10 is real cheap for lunch, unless you eat garbage. But if you eat something else, it's going to be anywhere from $10 to $15. So you're saving that type of money as well. And if you fail this preparation, it puts you at a competitive disadvantage. Because if you're going against someone who's prepared, you're going to lose. Straight up. If you're going head to head with someone who is prepared and you're not, it's going to be over for you. So here, it's like, if you want to buy something, prepare for it. So there's another way you can save money with being prepared. So let's say you want to get a car or a special bicycle or something. So if I save my money, I save $100 a week, whatever it is, and then when it comes time to buy it, I can just buy it outright, or I can buy it, put a big chunk of change on it so that my loan is a lot less money. Because you know what? When I'm borrowing that money, what do I have to do? I have to pay interest on it. So if I'm paying interest on that, I'm losing money, especially some of the interest rates now, right? So it's another way you're saving money by being prepared to buy something instead of just throwing it on a credit card, and then worrying about it later. And as time goes on, that item that was $100 is $200, $300, whatever it is, if you don't pay it off in time. So that's another thing. If you want to buy something, prepare to buy it. And you also have to remember some other things as far as preparation goes. Murphy's Law applies. What can go wrong will go wrong. So be prepared for that. Know that if something can happen, look at all different options and say, what are the different things that could happen here? Explore that and then prepare for it. And, I came across this once, and, where they say, planning is a huge part of the preparation, right? So when man plans, God laughs. Why? Because God will throw a monkey wrench in there, kind of mess things up for you. But when man has a backup plan, God smiles. So God is going to smile at you and say, okay, this one had a backup plan. I mean, look at it this way. If you're a bodyguard, I learned this when I was doing some bodyguard work, and I have my client and I have to meet them at a certain spot at, let's say, 12 o'clock. And so I plan my route, and all of a sudden there's a water main break. I can't get there. What happens to my client? If it's a real serious situation, they could die. But I'll tell you this, because I didn't make it there on time, I'll never get hired again. I'm telling you right now, you will never get hired again. I'll tell you, same thing used to happen in sales. Sometimes, you're trying to get a big sale and you have an appointment. If you're late and you're meeting with a CEO or a CIO of a company and you show up late, they may not see you and you will probably never get seen again. Not everyone has to be understanding. They're not your mommy or daddy. So what you have to do is prepare for that. You prepare for that. You leave early. Like I would show up, I'd make sure I was there an hour before this bodyguard, at least an hour before, just in case something went wrong. And I'd also plan alternate routes. So it's about being prepared. So these are some of the takeaways that we want to have. Remember, proper preparation prevents poor performance. I'd like to thank you for your time today. And this is Master Phil in your corner. Straight.